Welcome back once again to the news media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ground is still getting more hostile for UDA leaders across the country of Kenya, while they are trying to sell William Samoei Ruto's two-term narrative within the UDA party ahead of 2027 general election, whereby yesterday on Wednesday, a serious drama unfolded in Kimilili constituency after MP Didmas Baraza allegedly chanted Ruto two-term during a public gathering. He was beaten, heckled, and later on evacuated before things get worse in his own constituency.
Hey!
That is what happened. Beside that one, earlier today also, Wasilgishu women rep called Gladys Sholei was also chased away with his one-term chant in Moiben after disappearing from her constituents for a long time. Kazi ni kuonekana tu kwa TV interview akitetea William Samoei Ruto na serikali yake, lakini kwa ground hakuna kazi inafanya.
Hello.
So as we speak right now, Kenyans have decided that they are not going to hear anything from the government of William Samoei Ruto. If you defend Ruto, just defend Ruto on the TV, lakini ukikuja kwa ground usiambie wananchi mambo ya two-term, hawataki. Hata huyo pia alifukuzwa. As we speak right now, UDA leaders are struggling to sell two-term choir across the country of Kenya ahead of 2027 election, whereby it is high time for some UDA leaders to start defending their seat rather than defending the seat of President William Samoei Ruto.
President William Ruto has alleged that his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua is to blame for the death of gospel artist Rachel Wandeto, who died after an acid attack allegedly for tattooing the president's face and slogans on her body. Now, the president, who spoke in Mombasa County, said Gachagua's tribal and traitorous remarks led to Wandeto's death, warning him that he will pay for his actions.
For the hate you are perpetuating in Kenya, the life of Rachel Wandeto will not go unanswered. You who call others traitors, you mwenye mnawaita Wakenya wengine wasaliti, mpaka mama Rachel Wandeto ameuawa kwa sababu ya chuki yenu, kwa sababu ya ukabila yenu, kwa sababu ya profiling ambayo umefanya Wakenya wengine eti ni wasaliti. Siku moja mutajibu, na Kenya hii hatuwezi kukubali, hatuwezi kuwaruhusu mtuuzie ukabila, mtuuzie chuki, mtuuzie blackmail. We are telling you, we will not allow you to blackmail anybody in Kenya. You will not blackmail our nation using ethnicity. You will not blackmail our nation using hate. You will not profile citizens as traitors because they don't believe in your tribal bigotry.
Because beside that one also, Professor Kindiki was also heckled and chased away. Wait, people were recorded chanting one time in Machakos during his tour there yesterday on Wednesday. Mambo imegeuka saizi. In fact, this issue of fuel price have totally destroyed the government of William Ruto on the ground.
President William Ruto, who frequently criticized his former boss and retired President Uhuru Kenyatta during campaigns leading up to the 2022 general election over rising fuel prices, is now under intense pressure from Kenyans and opposition leaders over the surge in pump prices. The current situation has escalated into spiraling protests and strikes as public transport stakeholders join the fray in demanding a reduction in prices. Kevin Mutai now interrogates the changing political undertones regarding the ever-evolving pump prices in the country.
In the run-up to the 2022 general election, then Deputy President William Ruto sharply accused Uhuru Kenyatta's administration of mismanaging the petroleum sector, campaigning under the hustler economic policies while promising to lower the cost of living.
Hey, angalia hii bei imepanda, uliza Uhuru. Yani mimi Uhuru niko Ukraine, mimi ninafanya nini huko?
Hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya.
He also once claimed that the cost of fuel in Kenya would not be more expensive than in the neighboring landlocked countries within the EAC, such as Uganda.
Ile cartel ya ufisadi iko pale ndio inasababisha bei ya mafuta hapa Kenya kuzidi bei ya mafuta Uganda. Na hiyo mafuta inapitia Kenya ikienda Uganda.
But in a change of heart, his administration, now operating under the broad-based arrangement and facing mounting fiscal deficits and pressure, has come out to defend the fuel taxes amid massive public outcry over soaring prices at the pump. Ruto argues that Kenya has more advanced infrastructure projects as compared to neighboring countries, hence the need to boost national revenue.
Even in our neighborhood, I've heard people say that prices of petroleum products are cheaper in Uganda and Tanzania. Where is that evidence? We are much lower in terms of increase of price between the two countries. So it is not true that our neighbors are selling petroleum products cheaply.
Our neighbors are least development countries. There's a big difference. If you want to compare Kenya fairly with others, compare Kenya with other middle-income countries.
Deputy President Kindiki maintains that the Israel-Iran conflict has escalated crude oil prices worldwide, noting that existing interventions, including utilizing billions of shillings to stabilize the cost of fuel, will shield the country from global shocks.
Tunapunguza kodi hii, tunapunguza ile ingine, tunaona ni gani tunaweza fanya saa hii. And I also want to say, hatuwezi kufanya kila kitu siku moja. Kwa sababu pia ile kodi ambayo tunaokota ndio inatumika kutujengea barabara, ndio inatusaidia kufadhili elimu. And therefore we have to balance the interventions we are making to resolve the fuel crisis.
His predecessor and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, who is now President Ruto's fierce critic, also at one point defended his former boss while serving as the second in command, attributing the rising pump prices to the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Rais anajaribu, mimi namwambia halali. Ametoka Amerika, ameenda wapi, anapambana day and night akitutafutia mazuri. Lakini mambo imekuja ni shida ya dunia nzima. Na hiyo hawezi elekezwa mtu moja.
This war has been difficult to predict. You don't even know what will happen tomorrow.
But the politics of fuel in the country now represent a flashpoint of public tension, with skyrocketing pump prices now triggering nationwide protests that have paralyzed public transport in different parts of the country as Kenyans mount pressure on the government to cushion them from the high cost of living.
Ninakumbuka Ruto akiingia mafuta ilikuwa 156. Na mpaka wa leo mafuta bado inapanda. Sasa sisi wanyonge tutatetua kina nani? Wambunge mpaka saa hii kutoka juzi hawaongei, wamenyamaza.
Hii serikali ikianza ilikuwa ni serikali ya watu wa chini. Na sisi ndio watu wa chini.
it is not going to be very much easier for William Samoei Ruto's leaders to sell their two-term choir across the country of Kenya ahead of 2027 election without facing hostility on the ground. Saizi mambo imegeuka. Mambo imechemka sasa. And again, and you know very that we are heading to finance bill. We are waiting to hear that finance bill, that we are being told that that finance bill is more dangerous than the one that the one of 2024 that led to the killing of the innocent Gen Z that were on the street trying to protest for their freedom and interest under the government of William Samoei Ruto. We are waiting for that finance bill. It is not going to be very much easier for UDA leaders on the ground, alongside some leaders that Baba left in the broad-based government that normally call themselves expert. Wale ambao wanajiitanga expert, people like John Mbadi, Opiyo Wandayi, alias Anjoho, they are also struggling to sell William Samoei Ruto's two-term narrative so that they can maintain their position within the government of William Samoei Ruto and a cabinet ministry. Saizi kimeumana. Ukijaribu kupinga opposition, unapigwa. Ukijaribu kuuza William Samoei Ruto kwa ground, unapigwa. Or else, uende uuze Ruto huko kwao. Huko nayo unaweza, maybe sometimes you won't face hostility on the ground. But in the remaining areas, mambo ni one term. In fact, saizi kama wewe sio mtu wa one term, I don't know what you are waiting for. If you are chanting two term, you are just risking your life. You are just risking your life whenever you chant two term. Then lastly, Ruto returned to Kenya earlier today. Na akaenda huko Mombasa. So after William Samoei Ruto kwenda Mombasa for a state event, William Samoei Ruto was recorded painting a bad picture on Rigathi Gachagua, that Gachagua is the person who organized that lady to be beaten. Si kuna msana mwenye alimwagiwa acids, alimwagiwa acids, mara alichomwa na nini. That lady, a gospel singer, mwenye alichomwa hadi akakufa. So right now, the government is trying to paint a bad picture under Rigathi Gachagua alongside the united opposition leaders behind the attack of that lady. And we need to understand that that lady was being sacrificed to cover the new finance bill, so that Kenyans can have much focus on the finance bill rather than focusing on fuel price. So that Kenyans can have much focus on that lady rather than focusing on the new finance bill. It can backfire. They have tried to divert the attention of Kenyans that Gachagua is the person behind this issue, lakini imeshindikana. It is true. Kwa Kenya walishajua hiyo script yao. They are not going with them anywhere. Kenyans have already know the script that the government is trying to play so that they can pass finance bill of 2026-2027. Thank you so much, and may God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us meet in the next video that is going to be uploaded shortly within no time. See you in the next video, my great viewers. Bye-bye.